How long is an investment committed? That is a great question because it's for all the many pros of mortgage investing, it must be understood that these are, at the end of the day, pretty illiquid investments. You can't break a mortgage halfway through the term, right? They're committed for a certain duration. So again, there's some differences between a direct investment and a MIC type investment. And I would actually think that even though a MIC is considered an illiquid investment, there's probably more liquidity with a MIC than a direct investment. And let me illustrate that. So on a direct investment, let's assume it's a 12-month term, which is probably the most common length. So that investment at minimum is committed for the term of the loan. But really the duration is really driven by the borrower themselves. If they're able to qualify for bank financing sooner, they may pay out earlier. If it's taking them longer than anticipated, they may require an extension or renewal. So we prefer to work with investors that intend to be investing for the long term. If somebody that came to me and said, hey, I have this money, but I'm going to buy a property in 12 months and a day, I'd like to invest it. I wouldn't think that that would be a suitable duration to invest in mortgages because we cannot control the payout of the mortgage exactly. It's not as if on the maturity date, the borrower has this sum of cash, this proverbial $100,000 that they borrowed as a second mortgage, ready to pay you back. We talked earlier about potential ways to exit the mortgage, and typically the payout and payback is tied to the refinance of a new property. So while most of the time that happens within 2 weeks prior or after the maturity date, it's very common that a client is going to request and need an extension or renewal to buy more time to follow through on their solution. Now comparing that, so comparing the direct investment that we talked about to the MIC program, the reason that a MIC program, even though it does have similar lock periods of 12 months, it has a bit more liquidity because we're not waiting, and this is true to all MICs, I'm not just talking about Hosper. We're not just waiting for the payout of that one mortgage that is securing your investment. In a MIC of any substantial size, there's going to be 100 to 200 plus mortgages. The payout of any one of those 200 mortgages would give the liquidity needed to honor redemptions. On top of that, a MIC that is growing and taking on new investors is also going to be taking in new money from clients on a monthly or weekly or whatever the basis is that fund is operating. And so a redemption from a MIC is easier than a redemption from a direct deal because a direct deal relies on the fate of one specific borrower, whereas the redemption from a MIC can be sourced from a payout of any number of mortgages as well as the incoming cash flow from new investors.